सेवक सेवा में रहे, सेवक कहिए सोई। कह कबीर सेवा बिना सेवक कबहू ना होई। सेवक सेवा में रहे, अनत कहूँ नहीं जाई। दुख सुख सिर ऊपर सहे, कहे कबीर समझाए।
Seva is a Sanskrit word that means selfless service. The word selfless means being more concerned with the needs and wishes of others than one's self. Spiritual masters share their perspective that seva is anything we do in a selfless manner, as long as it is done without calculation, remuneration, expectation, or even a desire for praise or appreciation. Seva is the giving of one's self. It has no boundaries. It is not limited to serving any institution and can be done anywhere, at any time, for anyone. Seva is a voluntary form of giving that becomes a way of life. Mystics have explained that selfless seva is like the love of a mother for her child. 24 hours a day, she attends to her child's physical, mental, and emotional needs. The child's happiness always comes ahead of her own. She never calculates how much time, effort, or how much love and attention she gives to her child. Whatever she does flows freely from her heart out of deep love. Saints refer to this as Nishkam Seva, the act of serving with a pure heart for love and love alone, without any desire. There are two distinct types of seva. Outer seva, which is the means, and the inner seva, which is the end. Saints of the mystic path teach us that the highest form of Nishkam seva is meditation, withdrawing the consciousness to the eye center and attaching it to the divine light and melody within. This is the real seva, the highest form of service.
ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਤੋਂ ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦੱਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਉੱਤੇ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਹੈ। ਸਿਮਰਨ ਔਰ ਧਿਆਨ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਨਵਾਂ ਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਖਿਆਲ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਨਾ ਹੈ। ਜੀਂਦੇ ਜੀ ਮਰੋ ਅਗਰ ਮਾਲਕ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੈ। ਜੀਂਦੇ ਜੀ ਮਰਨਾ ਕਿ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਔਰ ਧਿਆਨ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਨਵਾਂ ਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਖਿਆਲ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜੋ, ਇਹ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਸਲੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਸੇਵਾ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਔਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਫਾਇਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈ, ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ।
Through this selfless act of meditation, the disciple expresses his gratitude to the Lord. It enables him to tune in and increase his receptivity to the Lord's grace, making him profoundly aware of the Lord's infinite love. It is through this seva that the disciple grows to realize the true self and thus experience the ultimate truth. Guru Amar Das Ji explains, Eha seva chakri naam vasse man aaye. This is true seva, the real submission, by which one gets dyed in the hue of Naam. It is only through this seva that the disciple reaches a stage where he desires nothing but the Lord and loses his own identity, enabling him to merge into the Supreme Being. Spiritual masters call those who practice this noble seva the Lord's real sevadars, his true disciples. Huzur Maharaj Ji explains,
You see, the real seva is meditation, seva to ourself, helping the soul to get released from the clutches of the mind, to help the soul to go beyond the realm of mind and maya. That's the real seva. Other sevas are means to achieve this end. You want to be humble, you want to clean your vessel, you want to create humility within yourself, you want to be useful, you want to have a very compassionate heart, loving heart, cooperative heart, so that you may invoke the grace of the Lord in your meditation. These are all means to achieve the end. The real seva is attending to your meditation.
Since meditation requires constant focus, the outer seva is necessary to help create a conducive spiritual atmosphere. Outer seva instills humility and keeps the disciple close to the spiritual master. It inspires the disciple to do more meditation. The more he meditates, the more grateful he feels, the more humble he feels, and the more he wants to serve, both within and without.
Other sevas are just to clean a cup so that we may be able to fill it with that nectar within. If the cup is dirty, it's not worthy to be filled. Because if the humility is not within us, we cannot taste that nectar within us. If we are attached to the wealth, we cannot taste that nectar within us. If our mind is consciousness is separated from the whole creation, we cannot taste that nectar within ourselves. When we are able to achieve all those three sevas, then only we are fortunate enough to taste that nectar within ourselves. Then our cup is full.
True mystics come to this earth with a divine and specific purpose. They come on a mission of mercy, born of deep compassion, to free suffering souls from the endless cycle of birth and death. The fragrance of spirituality attracts people in great numbers to the company of a mystic, so arrangements have to be made to care for them. As crowds of seekers swell to the hundreds and thousands, countless details are managed by volunteers who assist the Master in his divine mission. These are his sevadars. And it is through every sevadar's devotion and service that the Master accomplishes their spiritual transformation.
Seva is a gift from the Master. And it helps us in so many ways on the path. It keeps us in his environment. And it helps us to forget ourselves. We think of others, we serve the Master. And helps us in our meditation.
Seva is a drop in the ocean of love and help that God and your teacher gives you during your life. That is Seva. Seva actually is the elixir that makes the tree of love grows in your heart. That is Seva. Because love is the ultimate goal. Love is God and God is love.
Babaji briefed me that the any seva given to you is not of a chair that you are going to occupy. The seva or the sheds or anything, any infrastructure, seva is of the Sangat. If the Sangat is happy with you, I am happy with you. Otherwise, there is no idea of doing seva, leaving your house, coming here. And if my Sangat is not looked after by you, I will not be happy with your seva.
I think seva is pretty much anything that you do without the I factor or without expectation of any return. Selfless service and nishkam service that he talks about in satsang all the time. So it could be anything from helping someone cross the street to helping someone pack a bag groceries or looking after a little child if need be. It doesn't have to be within the institution of RSSB, but anything that you do wholeheartedly and openly to help others is seva.
Somebody asked Babaji, you've always said that the most important seva is your meditation seva. What is the second most important seva? And Babaji said, seva towards your parents. And I remember Hazur's words as well. He said, we don't have the tongue to thank our parents, what they've done for us. They've raised us. We were there as parents for the children when they took their first steps. Why can't the children be there for us when we take our last steps?
Seva to me is a rare opportunity to forget ourselves. It is the chance to lose yourself in the service of others, and especially on this path because you are, and I'm almost afraid to say this, but you are really not serving the Master, but you are serving his biggest treasured jewel, which is his Sangat.
Seva is the cornerstone of my life. It's the thing I relish and enjoy doing most of all, because it's a very practical way of bringing the Master and the path into your life. If you have that way of looking at things, that everything is given by him, when you're doing seva, that makes it absolutely real to you because he has given you this seva to do. So you do it with all your heart, with all your love that you can muster because you know it's for him.
For me, I think seva is my anchor. It is what holds me steady and reminds me that the Master is always with me in every situation. It's what keeps me going through all the ups and downs that come before us in life. And I think I really wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have seva. So I think in one word, that's really it. It's my anchor. It's aside from the Master himself and the Naam that he has gifted me with, seva is the anchor that holds me on the other side. So it's kind of like a balance.
And seva is my deep gratitude to my Master for all his blessings. On a lighter note, seva keeps us out of mischief.
Seva was first introduced when Baba Jaimal Singh settled at the Dera in 1891. At first, only food needed to be prepared and served to the Sangat who came to attend satsangs. But as the Sangat grew, there was need for a satsang hall and accommodation facilities. And so, out of immense love for their master, the Sangat helped in any way they could to build these structures. The great master often said that the smallest effort of the Sevadars was precious to him, that every moment, every drop of perspiration shed by the Sevadars was valuable to him.
During Baba Sawan Singh's time, Seva in Dera took a different form. In Dera, we didn't have any boundary wall at that time, so it was open from all sides. So a lot of disturbance was there. The people were coming in Tongas only. At that time, there were no transport system. So they were haphazardly keeping their Tongas and horses wherever they liked to. They'll tie their horses and keep it. So Maharaj Sawan Singh, he started what is called as Sawan League, in which Maharaj Charan Singh at that time, they were all youngsters at that time. So he was made the chairman or president of the league, and there were others. Interesting thing they told me was, okay, whatever seva at that time was given by Babaji to these youngsters. So in their actual life, when they started working, they went into the same fields. Maharaj Charan Singh, he became Maharaji here. Dharbani became transport in charge here as well in service. He was in transport department. G.S. Randhir, he was in public relations. And Bhandari, of course, was looking after our langar. Somebody was given to look after, let there be no dogs to shoo them off. So that became security part. Later on, during Maharaji's time, the Sangat increase was manifold. So it came into lakhs at that time. Earlier on, there were no sheds. So everywhere they used to put shamiyanas. Now, one kanat of shamiyanas is 18 feet by 36 feet. So in an acre, you can work out how many kanats were joined together. They had a system, there were holes in it, there were poles, they will just put the knobs into it and then big ropes and all those types of things. It's a thing to be seen, how they used to do it. So when you are trying to make pandal for satsang, they used to work for 2-3 days and night to put up those shamiyanas. And they'll again roll it up after satsang as quick as possible. So within 2-3 days, nothing is there again, it's all cleaned up. In Maharaji's time, the July satsang, invariably there was rain. And everybody used to come fully drenched. Nobody left the place. But during Babaji's time, we started to have shed. Now you see it's, I think, 38 acres. So now everywhere sheds are coming up. But still Sangat is more. They still have to pitch shamiyanas for that. So they are doing it that.
Mitti ki seva or earth moving seva was one of the most memorable seva activities in the history of the Dera. It began in the 1960s when sevadars from all walks of life came together to carry baskets of earth to fill deep ravines. The objective was to level the land so that space could be created for the langar, satsang sheds and other facilities. Almost every visitor at the Dera wanted to be a part of this harmonious effort. There were days when there were as many as hundreds of thousands of volunteers. Today, almost 60 years later, one can still recall the powerful synergy that made this seva unforgettable.
I mean, in Huzur's time, the thing that everyone remembers is Mitti Seva, which is sort of the classic case, of sort of the best symbol of Seva, generally, where you're carrying dirt on your head and you're carrying with everyone else, you're getting equally dirty, and the only difference is some are stronger physically and some are weaker. But and you're all doing it under Master's watchful eyes. He's up on a slight height, watching everyone, and the sun is going down. It's glorious. This is the kind of thing we experienced under Huzur.
एक बार की बात है, जब मैं भोजन भंडार में था, तो जैसे मिट्टी की सेवा में जाते हैं सभी लोग, जब तक महाराज जी बैठे रहते थे ना, तो पता नहीं लगता था कि टोकरी भार है कि नहीं है। जब ही उठ गए तो अगर हमारे को 10 फुट भी आगे जाना है तो वो भारी लगते थे, और जब तक वो बैठे रहे तो पता ही नहीं चलता था। तो इसको आप क्या समझें, वो आप जाने या वो मालिक जाने। तो सेवा वही जानते हैं, हम तो कुछ नहीं जानते, जो कराने वाला है वही जानता है।
For over 100 years, Sevadars have served at the Dera under the guidance of the Byas masters, levelling land, building roads, and creating an infrastructure to support the ever-growing Sangat. Through the sublime love of the masters and the devotion of their Sevadars, the Dera has gradually developed into a spiritual oasis capable of serving millions of visitors year after year.
Seva comes from heart. It's not a compulsion with anybody. Not that you have to do it, but you want to do it. It must come from within. And there must be love in doing seva. There should be no obligation that you have to do it.
Seva is always done with love and humility. Humility is a part of love. There is more happiness in giving than taking, more happiness in donating than accepting any gift, more happiness in helping somebody than getting a help from anybody. People have a wrong concept that they become more happy when they accept in something in charity or say accept something in help. The pleasure that you get by helping somebody, making somebody happy in life, nothing to compare with that pleasure. You have certain satisfaction with yourself that you have been able to do something good for somebody. So seva is always done with love. Otherwise it's not a seva. Seva is not mechanically working with hand. Seva is our intention to please another person, to do something for another person so that the other person may become happy what I am doing. So it means there is certain love within us for the other institution, for the other person, for which we are doing something. Automatically there will be humility. Humility is the part of love. Love is the part of seva.
All seva activities revolve around satsang or spiritual discourses. It is the principal method used by the masters to spread the teachings of the saints. It is the reason thousands of sevadars work tirelessly day in and day out. Throughout the year, the master holds regular satsang programs at the Dera. In between, he also travels extensively within India and abroad. delivering discourses and holding question and answer sessions. At every satsang program, exhaustive arrangements are made to provide for the visiting Sangat, such as accommodation, food and water, medical attention, crowd control, transport facilities, sanitation, parking, security, child care, and initiation interviews. The Dera has a population of 7,000 residents, out of which 1,500 full-time Sevadars serve the Sangat throughout the year. During designated satsang weekends, the Dera's population increases to as much as 500,000. During these days, thousands of Sevadars from neighboring states volunteer to serve the Sangat. They are known as Jatha Sevadars. Their commitment to Seva is essential in keeping the Dera running smoothly throughout the year. Their presence is a constant outpouring of devotion in action. Their energy and enthusiasm permeate the entire atmosphere at the Dera. Nearly 500,000 Jatha Sevadars serve annually at the Dera. Their service extends to all departments, including working at the Dera farms, cooking in the langar and food outlets, road works, sanitation, construction, landscaping, and crowd control. All over the world, Sevadars are happy to serve, day or night, in the scorching heat of summer or in the bitter cold of winter. Whether it is trimming a hedge to perfection, organizing a parking lot, or picking up leaves until not one remains, Sevadars have only one wish: to please the beloved. Along the way, they completely forget themselves and fall in love with the joy of Seva, of working together as one in love and harmony to serve the Master and his Sangat.
That is a lesson, an ongoing lesson that is being taught, I believe, every day. What it means is, I believe, it's being able to understand that we can never do a task alone. It takes a team cooperating fully with one another in loving harmony, and then the project will come out very nicely. The end product will be very well. It also means not putting one's own self forward and realizing that we are doing it for a higher purpose.
The excitement and anticipation begins as soon as the dates of an official satsang program are announced. Preparations for the event start months in advance. Sevadars meet regularly to discuss and plan the program down to the smallest detail to ensure that the visiting Sangat is warmly welcomed and well cared for. This is Haynes Park in Bedford, UK. The Sevadars are preparing for Master's official visit, which is to take place in 6 weeks. The expected attendance is 20,000 people. Approximately 250 Sevadars have gathered today to put up a tent where the satsang will be held. It is a Saturday afternoon, and the volunteers have been looking forward to this weekend for several months. Trained by experts, they are ready to get started on this task.
So what's involved in the tent seva is that it's firstly been going on for the past 24 years. It started in 1994 when the Master wanted satsang to be held at Haynes Park. Nobody had ever designed a structure of this size and complexity. It's 152 meters from the back of the stage to the bookstore, and this way it's 120 meters, and from the floor to the top of the roof it's 11.5 meters. And the Sevadars have lovingly maintained it. Every weekend they come here, they open the fabric, they clean it, we repair it. We bring in the external company that made the fabric. They come here once a year for 2 days and they help us. They are only contracted to do a certain number of repairs. When they come here, they are so impressed with the Sangat that they are finding other things and saying, but this needs to be repaired and this needs to be, and you're saying, but that's not even in your contract, it doesn't matter, we will do it. And that's the sort of effect that they have when they come here. And it's not just the tent fabric, they see the whole mansion, the grounds, the way that they are treated, the way that they are served food. We are asking them, please have more, and they feel that love, and they come here and do so much for us. It's a very complex structure. It's not one where it's about brute force, it's about intelligence, thinking intelligently to put up this very complicated structure, but in a way that's safe. And the external bodies who have been, the Environmental Health Office, the HSE, have all been worried, but when they come here and they see the organisation, that all that concern and anxiety that they have just is gone. Because they can just see there's a sense of control and order, and they feel that. Because you can't manufacture that. It's something that they feel and they see. And because the last inspection that we had, they had lots of questions, but we answered as fast as they were asking, we were answering. And they could see that we knew what we were doing. And people who come externally to observe the seva that we do, they're just mesmerized by just the quietness of everything, and there's no shouting or people being noisy or loudness. There's just a calm serenity, and it just unfolds, and the tent just goes up. And I always say that tent seva is a seva where it happens silently all year. It's erected silently, it's done, and the sevadars go home, and nobody even knows that we were here. And that is the atmosphere of tent seva. It's a very loving, calm atmosphere, and sevadars are naturally attracted to this seva and are looking forward to when we're going to dismantle, and then we start the cleaning process as well. I mean, last year, Babaji came to see us on both sides of the tent, east and west side, and he just says just loving things that fills them with that desire to keep coming. He said, I've got the best team in the world. And when you hear things like that, and just little things, he'll walk on either side of the tent and he'll just say things just to make people laugh, and he's just so loving, and he's said things like, there's a lot of harmony in tent, and you feel that harmony. And there was one year when behind the stage where Babaji comes into the tent, the fabric ripped, and it was a really dangerous rip. And I'm praying, and I'm saying, Babaji, I need you now. Please hold that fabric. Anyway, Master came out of his house, Gamal turned right, Babaji turns left. On his own, he walks up to that point, looks up at it and goes, and then walk back. There have been so many occasions like that where we've needed him, and whether he was on site, off site, doesn't matter. He's always been there. The thing I've learned in seva is that leave it to the Master. If you keep him in your mind at all times, from the moment you start your seva to the time it finishes, he'll be with you.
Similar preparations are held in other countries, such as Vancouver, where a smaller tent was raised to provide additional seating for the Sangat. Recently, at the Vancouver and Petaluma centers, one of the greatest challenges that the Sevadars faced was the weather. Months before the event, persistent heavy rain produced a huge amount of mud and standing water. And as the day of the program came closer, Sevadars worked day and night to dry the ground, filling it with earth and sand and then leveling it. Other areas were filled with wood chips and pebbles. 2 days before the event, just when the grounds were finally dry, it rained harder than ever, requiring the entire process to be done again. It was a huge setback, but the team of Sevadars faced the challenge together, head-on, and enjoyed every moment of working through the night to complete the Seva.
Night 10 o'clock, 10:30, we were trying same thing. It's always great.
We want to serve the Sangat.
This opportunity will never be.
At this one we did it 4th time. And tomorrow we might not be here to have another go. So we enjoy the moment.
I mean, you could take here in Petaluma, for example, this weekend. You know, there was the rains, and it looked for a while like they weren't even able to put the thing on. You know, the disaster had struck. But they didn't lose heart. The master had said it would be all right, so they put faith in that. But that's not enough. You actually have to make it happen in a physical way. And they went ahead and did it. And they found 100, resources to means to sort of solve the problem of this, very difficult mud, the standing water. And they overcame it with courage, actually, courage and determination. Their willingness to work all night, confident that they could do it. It was a beautiful thing.
In 2014, when he was here last day, he was going, when he's talking to Sevadar, Babaji, and one guy just said, Babaji, are you happy with our Seva? I said, I'm very happy. Maharaj is very happy with all of you. Do not leave Seva, don't ask for it. Whatever you get it, do it with love and devotion.
One of the great pleasures of Seva is the sheer joy of working together. The laughter and fun, the flow of love and friendship that Sevadars share when they are united towards a common goal. When these tasks are done with an attitude of obedience and selfless devotion, there comes a great sense of oneness and harmony that cannot be found in worldly work.
Well, I think that for working in Petaluma, where it started with nothing, where people didn't know each other and had never done Seva, so many people, to see the bonding of the Sangat, the Indian Sangat with the Western Sangat, and just to experience the joy of that Seva was, I found it so fulfilling. Yeah, it was the first time anyone had really ever done Seva as a group. We had so much fun. What was really great is that the leaders would work. The organizers, the people in charge, they only were organizers, but they were also out there working on the roof, doing the construction. And so there was just this bonding between everyone. He brought us all together as a Sangat and made a lot of friends. Once we got started, Babaji came to visit, and he talked to us about Seva. And what he said, which was so beautiful, he said, we're all links in a chain, and one Sevadar is as important as the next. The manager is as important as the person who is in the kitchen. And if one of the links break, then it all falls apart.
One of my favorite memories of Seva is in the early days, Fayetteville, North Carolina was the first center in North America. So one of the first projects was we had to stabilize a hill. So we planted about I would say, 100,000 small pine seedlings. And we planted them in August. It was incredibly hot, like in the Punjab. All of us, doctors, lawyers, taxi cab drivers, teachers, people from all walks of life, Western, Indian, we worked all day from sunup to sundown. And at the end of the day, we were very pleased with our seva. We looked at the hill. We thought it was beautiful. That night, it rained harder than anyone could ever remember, and all of these little trees were at a puddle at the bottom of the hill. So the next day, we got up, sunrise, and we did it all over again. And it was even better and more wonderful. So every time when I drive by and see those trees, it reminds me of what we can all accomplish together when we work together with love and harmony.
I have a saying that I've lived by, and it's not what we're doing, it's who we're being. Because Babaji said you can take all this away if there's no love and there's no harmony. Even with the garden that we have here. I was walking with Babaji one time and said, major crop that we have here is harmony. We want to grow harmony first. And with his, mercy and grace, he's allowed that. And it's wonderful to see. So I don't think there's any challenges that can't be met with love, patience, and understanding.
Before any satsang program begins, a Sevadar meeting is held and everyone is reminded about the importance of seva.
आपको शांत रखना है। जब वो कुछ होता है मीठी आवाज से उनको मीठी बात से अपनी बात समझा दे। ऐसा अगर ऐसा नहीं ऐसा करें तो ऊपर सामने वाला जिद भी कर रहा है तो अपन शांत रहना है।
As Huzur explains in spiritual perspectives, quote, the real lover never bothers whether he receives or not. Love is in giving, not in taking.
In order for the seva departments to run efficiently, team leaders are assigned to train and supervise sevadars. There is a significant difference between the hierarchy in seva and the hierarchy in a corporation. The fundamental difference is that here all jobs are equal. While someone may have the job of washing dishes and someone else may be a sevadar in charge, in the master's eyes, both are the same. There are no high or low sevadars, just sevadars. Team leaders, coordinators are just names for another type of seva. Whether the sevadar is a team leader or someone working under a leader, each one has the same responsibility to serve together in harmony. A key part of seva is that it helps build our understanding. It challenges us to work with others who do things differently than we do.
At one point he defined a good sevadar as, good sevadar is a person who can work with everyone, period. With his seniors, with his juniors, with his colleagues, and do anything. So his line was very clear. A good sevadar is a person who can work with everyone.
There is no high and low on this path. If we start to believe that because we're management, we're something special, it's the biggest trap we can fall into. The lovers of the Lord are the ones that do their seva with Simran, meditation, and love of Master. They're the true Sevadars.
If we try and show that I'm in charge, I'm the one who's calling the shots, it's not possible. We are a team. And it's teamwork that helps us. Because individually, we can do nothing. But teamwork and harmony are what help us. We can move mountains. And the Master likes that. He likes teamwork and harmony. And one has to be a good example. There's no question of trying to be bossy. We all are his Sevadars.
As a Sevadar doing an action, you have to listen and compromise what you might feel. Even if you see this might be a better way to do it, if your in charge has told you you should do it this way, you should do it that way. So I think obedience is a very tough lesson for all of us, but it's the most important one because ultimately that's what we want to do is be obedient to the Master.
It doesn't matter where we're working. It doesn't matter what we're doing. It doesn't matter what seva we're given. It's an opportunity for us to glow. It's an opportunity for us to share with our brothers and sisters, for us to create an atmosphere of love and harmony, because that is all that matters. Nothing else matters but that. The work, he can take it from a stone.
We are all working together for one purpose, to make the Master happy. We are all in the same boat, going to one destination. So we have to work side by side, shoulder to shoulder.
As long as that feeling is there of love, of service to each other, to help each other, there can be no problem at all. If there is a feelings of superiority or bossing over somebody or showing you see that you're superior to them as your leader, then all these problem arises. And here everybody is a Sevadar. Everybody wants to help each other. It's all Lord's grace, nothing else. You see, when one is filled with love and devotion of the Father, all human qualities come in you like a cream on the milk. So when they come for love and devotion for the Father, so naturally no problem can arise.
Every satsang center, based on the size of the property, does its best to cater to the needs of the visiting Sangat. In Indore, for example, as soon as one steps off the train, Sevadars are waiting to direct the Sangat towards the buses that will take them to the satsang venue. But whether it is at a train station or at the gates of the satsang property, for the weary travellers, the first sign of an RSSB Sevadar is a welcome sight that tells them they are just hours away from seeing their beloved. Visiting any of the satsang centers is like visiting the dera. While the properties might be different in terms of size and location, the atmosphere of love and devotion is always the same. Huzur would say,
wherever there is a Sangat, there is a Dera. Dera is not a place made of bricks and mortar and other things, you see. Dera is made of the devotees, of the lovers of the Lord, of the seeker of the Father. That is Dera. Without Sangat, there is no Dera at all. Dera is just your love, your harmony, your affection, your understanding, and your cooperation with each other. That is Dera.
in the centers throughout India, whenever possible, provision is made for the Sangat's accommodation to be on the property during the satsang program. At the accommodation department, visitors register and space is allocated to them. Their baggage and belongings are deposited in the luggage department, where sevadars keep it secure. In these satsang centers, for most of the day and night, the shed is used as an accommodation facility for the Sangat. One of the most remarkable scenes to behold is the changeover from an accommodation shed to a satsang venue. As the sun rises, thousands of people promptly vacate the shed and sevadars begin preparing the space for satsang. They tidy the area and sweep up the grounds, create partitions, and in less than 2 hours, the satsang pandal is ready to seat the visiting Sangat. Thoughtful consideration is given to the elderly and members of the Sangat with special needs. A special accommodation area is designated for them, where sevadars are available round the clock to help feed them, help them take their medication, take them to satsang, or just provide company for them.
सेवादार बहुत अच्छे रखते हैं हमको, और रात में कभी सोलेट आते हैं तो ले जाते हैं गाड़ी से, और जो भी हम कहते हैं वो सेवा तैयार है हमारे लिए। घर पे सदस्य कभी गुस्सा कर देते हैं, लेकिन ये नहीं करते हैं, ये बोलते हैं, ये अपने बच्चे से, अपने पिता से ज़्यादा रखते हैं अच्छे।
हमारा छुआ ऐसा है, साफ़ सफाई का सबसे पहले, उसके बाद में लंगर परसना और विकलांगों को ले जाना बाथरूम, संडास ले जाना, और जो भी हो यहाँ तक दवाखाने में भी ले जाते हैं। हमारा बिस्तर ही यहाँ पर ही है, 24 घंटे ही है। आवाज़ आती है संगत को, हम उठ के खड़े हो जाते हैं। एक छुआ जीवन का लक्ष्य है, इंसान का, मानव का है, ये बिल्कुल बाबा जी के हुक्म है, छुआ में लगे रहो। ये मालिक की दया, फिर उनको संगत को बोलते हैं और आप आ जाना अगले साल छुआ के लिए।
You know, in the Delhi satsang, we have a special needs enclosure. It's in the pandal, and we have about 13,000 people coming, and we seat them in about 25 blocks. It's a huge number. And when it was started, we had set up a call center. We wanted to reach out to each and every elderly, infirm, physically challenged. Our sevadars were doing these calls. And there are instances when these sevadars were silently crying at this end of the line, talking to an elderly person at the other end, because they had not come for satsang for 10 years, some for 15 years, they had not had darshan. And here we were able to create teams who would go and pick and drop such people whose family could not bring them. Then we also have people who come with their families, but then they are handed over to our young guides, young sevadars, who take complete care of them, from taking them on the wheelchair to the pandal inside. They look after them, they're fed over there, escorted to the toilets, then escorted back to the cars or buses after the satsang. You know, the beauty of this seva is that these young children get to learn a lot. They learn compassion. They learn how to look after the elderly. And they treat the elderly as if they are their own grandparents. So this is a big learning for all of us over there. Not only that, you know, we have gone one step ahead, where we have brought the Sangat who is bedridden. They have been brought in ambulances, and we have a complete block for stretchers. In the last satsang in Delhi, we had about 100 such people who came on those 3 different days. And they were picked up from home by ambulance, brought there. We have extra medical arrangements made for them. And these young children look after, their attendants are of course there with them with the stretcher cases. But it is a sight to behold. And they are so grateful. There is a case I remember where a daughter was contacted for the mother, and the daughter said that my mother doesn't speak at all. She's in such a bad condition. But now that you have asked, and I asked her, would you like to go for satsang? She nodded vigorously. So, but I cannot bring her because I cannot climb down 3 floors with her. I can't carry her. So the call center people told them, no, we will pick up and we will bring you and your mother. She was overwhelmed. The Sangat gets overwhelmed with such calls, and they feel that Babaji has remembered us. They feel that he has called them.
आज घड़ी अत पावन भावन राधा स्वामी आए जगत चितावन जिनके ग्रह प्रेम पग तारन तिन जीवन का करे उबारन राधा स्वामी शब्द मनावन सुरत चढ़ी देखा कट जा